Yo, what's up, sports bettors? I got 6 more player props for you. A lot of value out there. Sportsbooks have also started to post odds for the upcoming day. So my first pick is actually right here. I really like it. It's from the OddsJam Sportsbook screen. Okay, and what you're going to notice is DeAndre Ayton. A few sportsbooks have started to post player prop odds for the NBA games tomorrow. And Ayton's line is 10 rebounds plus assists on parlay play. On Parlay Play, the sports book where we have our bet. So if you look at Underdog Fantasy, on the other hand, they have his line at 10.5, right? So Underdog Fantasy, which is a platform that works very similar to Parlay Play, they have his line half of a rebound plus assist higher at 10.5. All of the sports books, this is where it gets even more interesting, is you're going to notice all of these sports books, right? Every single one, they all have DeAndre Ayton's line at 10.5 as well. In fact, these sports books have the over as the favored outcome. So you're going to see right here, all these books have DeAndre Ayton, like DraftKings. They have his over 10.5 favored. They have the over at minus 120. I can actually zoom in a bit, give you a better picture. But you're going to see these books, they all have, right? They all got Ayton's over 10.5 favored. So we're getting 10. Underdog Fantasy is telling us, no, this line should be at 10.5. And the sports books also have the line higher at 10.5, and they have the over 10.5 as the favored outcome. So this is how you want to think as a sharp bettor. And a lot of people will be like, oh, this game's not till tomorrow. Why don't you have a bet on the games tonight? And I have some bets on the games tonight, but some of the best betting opportunities, some of the biggest line inefficiencies you're going to find are when sportsbooks first post odds. And this is about as clear value as it gets. Right? You know, Ayton's line 10 here, 10.5 on all the books. They all got the over 10.5 favored, and we're getting 10. Really good value. That's the first play I went with. Then what I ended up going with is Clay under 29.5 PRAs, right? So you can use this tool, the sportsbook screen, to look at, NBA lines, MLB, whatever market you want to look at. And what you're going to see here is Clay's line is 29.5 on Parlay Play. Underdog also has it 29.5, so I may try to include this in an Underdog Fantasy entry as well. But what you're going to see is most of the sports books, they have the line at 28.5. FanDuel has the line at 28.5, and they have the under as the favored outcome, right? DraftKings has the line at 28.5. So this one's a little less clear, but still really like the value on this under 28, under 29.5 on Parlay Play. That's the second pick I went with. Now, one thing I wanted to mention about Parlay Play was pretty interesting compared to like a traditional sports book. So traditional sports books, they have odds, right? So you're going to see here for Jared Vanderbilt, his over-under half of a 3. So will he make a 3 or will he not make a 3? Sportsbooks give you odds, right? Like minus 142 on Caesars, bet 142 to win back 100, right? Minus 140 for the under on DraftKings, bet 140 to win back 100. So all these books have different odds, right, from one another. They're all data points, essentially telling us where a line should be set. But on Parlay Play, there's no odds, right? Like what you're going to notice is any 6-pick entry follows this payout structure. 6 for 6, 25, 5 for 6, 2.5x, 4 for 6, 0.5x. Doesn't matter if you take overs, unders, you're going to see your payout doesn't change based on you selecting under or over. So basically the strategy for beating these platforms, it's not just Parlay Play that follows this kind of structure, fixed payout platform. So Underdog Fantasy is another one, right? So if you kind of take a look here, a lot of these games just started. What you're going to see is this is a fixed payout platform, right? Any 3 picks you select, 6x payout. Doesn't matter if you take overs, unders, you switch this to an NHL pick or an MMA pick or a soccer pick, whatever. 3 picks, 6-pick entry. So these are, fixed payout platforms. So essentially the way you aim to beat these fixed payout platforms, the way you have to beat them is you need to win above 50% of your player props. So on Parlay Play, it's slightly different on Underdog Fantasy, but on this platform, Parlay Play, in these 6-pick entries, you have to win 53.22% of your player props to break even, just to break even, right? So what this means is if you can select your over-unders correctly, like, Jesus Ferraria, if you can select these over-unders, right, just like this, if you can get these correctly over 53.22% of the time, you're going to make money on Parlay Play long-term. Right? It's really that simple. Like there's nothing complicated. All we're doing is we're taking these payouts on Parlay Play, right? And you're backing out your win probability. What percentage of your picks? We know this platform, they're not changing our payouts based on us selecting overs or unders. So what percentage of our picks do we have to win to be profitable? And it's 53.22%. So if you have no advantage, right? If you have no edge, no advantage, however you want to think about it, you're not going to be able to get 53.22% of your over-unders correctly, right? You're only going to get 50%. If you have no advantage, this Jesus guy, he's always going to go over or under 2.5 shots on goal, right? He's always going to go over or under. So what you need to be profitable, right, is you got to be better than 50%. You got to be 53.22%. So the positive EV tool on OddsJam, it works for betting on sportsbooks as well. But all this tool does, right, is it reads in sportsbook odds and shows you value, right? So on parlay play, all we need is picks winning over 53.22% of the time, and that's what the positive EV tool shows you, right? It reads in odds from all these sports books. You're going to see every single sports book, all these different books, right? They all have Vanderbilt's under heavily favored. Caesars has the under as a pretty big favorite, minus 142. DraftKings, another data point, another book posting odds. They have it at minus 140. All these books have the under heavily favored, so that's a great player prop to go with. And, OddsJam has this betting tool. It's called the Fantasy Optimizer. It works for Underdog, right? So you can open up Underdog Fantasy. We can see if there's any picks on Underdog right now. But all it does, right, is it reads in sportsbook odds, and it actually quantifies for you the win probability for your bet, right? So we know Jared Vanderbilt. We know his under's more likely. So we know the under is going to be occurring over 50% of the time. We know the under is the favorite outcome, so it's going to be above 50%. But what this tool does is it actually quantifies and shows you all these picks in green. So you can see there's a little bit of value right now on Underdog Fantasy, so maybe, some value you can end up going with. But long story short, all this tool does is it reads in odds from all the sports books and says, Jared Vanderbilt, his under's heavily favored on the books around minus 135. So this is a player prop where Vanderbilt, he's more likely to go under as opposed to over. So this is a great play to include in your parlay play entry because this pick is winning over 53.22% of the time. So all you got to do is hit these bets in green, right? All these bets in green are winning over 53.22% of the time, right? And the win probabilities are right here. So Russell under 6.5 assists, whatever. So what I ended up going with is Vanderbilt under half of a 3, Russell under 6.5 assists. So you can see right here, let's go back here, Russell under 6.5 assists. So pretty great value on this play. We can look at Underdog, see where they have him. If we go to NBA, so you're going to see they have Russell at 6 assists, right? So they have him lower. And then if we look at Prize Picks, well, I don't have Prize Picks open, but long story short, just literally ripping plays from this fantasy screen. There's no secret bullet for beating parlay play. There's no get-rich-quick strategy. People are always how do I turn $10 into $100,000? It's come on, be realistic. What I'm talking about in these videos, Underdog Fantasy up $80,000 in profit, is how to get an edge, how to win long term, how you can beat the sports books. What are the strategies you can use to beat parlay play, Underdog, Prize Picks, DraftKings? That's the whole point of all these videos. And on these fixed payout platforms, it's pretty simple. They don't change your payouts based on you selecting over or under, so you just want to find spots where sportsbooks have the over or under heavily favored. So next I have Dustin May over 2.5 walks allowed, Schroeder over 11.5 points plus assists, Clay under 29.5, 8 and over 10. Pretty simple. 6 picks to make some money. So let's make some money, guys.